for this video, I decided to make a compilation of my personal favorite places to run in Northern California. I'm going to be showing you guys footage from a bunch of different routes and trails that I've been on that I decided were in my top 12. No, they're not ranked in any particular order, mainly because I couldn't even decide which one was my favorite because they're all so nice. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, also, disclaimer, before everyone watches this and freaks out because their favorite trail isn't on here, I just want you guys to know this is by no means an exhaustive list. These are just trails and routes that I've personally experienced. I know that there's tons of routes and trails out there that I have yet to run on that didn't make this list. I also realize that this is a little bit biased towards the Bay Area, but that's where I'm from. So yeah, just try not to have any hard feelings if your favorite route did not make this one singular video that's on the internet. If your favorite one is missing, please recommend it in the comments. And yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna start now. First off, we have the Napa Valley Vine Trail, which you can get at least a solid 12 miles in if you start in Yountville and go all the way to Trancas Street in downtown Napa. I've always loved this trail. It parallels the railroad and it's completely flat since it's right in the middle of the valley, and basically the whole time you're able to enjoy the scenery of vineyards and mountains and just beautiful wine country. This here trail that you're looking at, my friends, is a spot I wish every runner who's ever lived would experience. Spanning from San Bruno all the way to Woodside, it covers over 15 miles, 6 of which border the Crystal Springs Reservoir, as you can see in the background here. It's also partially wooded, so you'll definitely get just a mix of different scenery throughout the course of your run. Although the peninsula has a ton of different hiking trails within its numerous regional and state parks, I'd say this is probably the gem of all of them in terms of just being both running and bike friendly. It's a tad bit hilly heading north, but certainly not too much elevation gain. It's also literally right on top of the San Andreas Fault, so don't run here during an earthquake, please. You are now looking at a route that's up in Tahoe. It's essentially an extension of the Pope Baldwin bike path that starts down near Camp Richardson on the south shore of the lake, but this spurt I ran here is actually the part that borders the western part of the lake. So I started at the Meeks Bay Resort and followed the bike path all the way up towards Tahoma. So basically the whole time I was paralleling Emerald Bay Road, which eventually turns into Westlake Boulevard. Guys, this is purely a beautiful route. It passes through a handful of state parks like DL Bliss, Sugar Pine Point, all of which are just gorgeous. Next is the classic American River Parkway in Sacramento. Here's some clips of my teammates and I running out here. We love coming out here for long runs and workouts. This route is literally just built for endurance athletes. Guys, there's tons of folks on the trail, you know, marathoners, hobby joggers, cyclists, dog walkers, all the above. It's 100% Sacramento's prime spot for runners to train since it just goes on for miles and miles. Located in the heart of beautiful Marin County, we have the Corte Madera Creek Path, which actually has a few different segments, which I love because you get to see a diversity of scenery throughout the run. This is the spurt where you can see Mount Tam in the background. It starts in the town of Ross and extends all the way out to basically San Quentin, which is right on the bay, passing through a few different Marin suburbs like the Green Bay Marina, which is gorgeous because of all the houseboats. And also, closer to the San Quentin side, you pass by the ferry terminal and you can see all the boats in the harbor and stuff. This one might be a little biased, but One of my classic staple routes is Santa Rosa Creek. I've hit hundreds of workouts and runs here. It really is where I put in a solid chunk of my summer training and winter break training when I'm home from college. It's super scenic during all seasons. This clip is actually from a rainy winter day, so you can see all the beautiful fall greenery. It's western spurt spanning from Willowside Road all the way to Stony Point, takes you through the countryside of Santa Rosa, passing by lots of vineyards and stuff, and then its eastern spurt takes you all the way to downtown, which is still shaded with greenery all the way through. So running here even on a super hot day is really nice. And it has a paved side and a gravel side, so it's literally perfect for runners who like both surfaces. Also, the paved side goes under all the intersecting roads, so there's no stopping the whole way through if you don't want to, which makes it so ideal for like tempos and other types of continuous workouts. This is the Berkeley Marina Spurt of the San Francisco Bay Trail. Haven't run this trail very often, but it's one of my favorite running routes. The trailhead as a whole is said to span over 350 miles across the whole Bay Area. But this is one of my favorite spurts because you get the beautiful San Francisco city skyline over there. You get the water in the background. Some other views that are visible from different parts of the trail are things like Mount Tam, which is right there in the background. And then this part is closer to where I normally start. You can see the Berkeley Hills over off in the distance. If I went to Cal, I would literally do all my runs here, just saying. This part I also love because it's all green, and if you can't tell already, I'm a sucker for green. It's the spurt that starts from Marina Bay Park and heads out towards the shoreline. Here is a route that's literally a must if you like trees. It's actually not a designated trail or bike path, it's a road. And who are the giants, you ask? Those would be none other than the redwoods that go on for miles and miles in western Humboldt County. Shout out Cal Poly Humboldt. I don't know if this is placebo or not, but I genuinely feel more fit when I run here because there's so much oxygen in the air due to all the trees. And the forest out here is super remote, so there's hardly any traffic. I'm always able to run right on the road the whole time. Lake Merritt is probably one of the less common spots for the big running junkies out there because it's not your traditional running specific pathway and it's not like part of a state park or anything. But honestly, I really love the urban vibes here. You get views of the Berkeley Hills and some of the skyscrapers that border the water's edge too. I lied when I said if I went to Cal, I would do all my runs on the Berkeley Marina Trail. I would actually do like half of them here. The Iron Horse Trail is the American River Parkway of the East Bay. It runs right through the Tri-Valley, connecting Concord to Pleasanton. And so if you run through all 32-ish miles of it, you'll pass through Walnut Creek, Alamo, Danville, San Ramon, and Dublin. What I really like about this trail is that it's really suburban, so at least in the spurts that I run on, you pass by a lot of quaint neighborhoods and community parks, and lots of it is shaded by trees as well, so that's really nice. This may have been my favorite path to run on of all time, just because Monterey is gorgeous and you're literally running oceanside the whole time. Fun fact, you probably can't tell from the footage, but when I ran this, I was suffering from the worst patellofemoral pain syndrome ever, which basically means my knee was on fire with inflammation the whole time. Every step felt like my patella was gonna snap in half, but the only reason I kept going was because this route was so freaking pretty. You can't tell me as runners we don't all have those runs that we know we shouldn't be doing, but we do it anyway because our inner adventure seeker is convincing us that pain doesn't exist and everything is completely fine. So yeah, that was this route for me. Anyways, it was more than just the ocean. It was all the pretty cypress trees and the coastal Victorian houses, and overall just the lively scene. We passed by people playing beach volley and the pier. I wish I had more footage of that. But yeah, it just kind of felt like I was running on a beach boardwalk the whole time. Beautiful spot, highly recommend. When I first came to this trail with my team about 6 months ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to come back. One of the prettiest trails on the Point Reyes National Seashore, kind of similar to Bear Valley, except this one is a little bit less forested, a little more open. It's bike friendly, it's obviously runner friendly, dog friendly, horse friendly, all the above. And you get beautiful sights like this, the beautiful coastline. It can't get better. Probably the nicest trail, in my opinion, in the Point Reyes National Seashore State Park.